Hi folks, on this episode of Washing Dishes, we're going to make something I absolutely can't get enough of, potato salad. As usual, we'll do a quick run through our ingredients and then we'll start getting things ready. Obviously, we're going to need a bunch of russet potatoes. We'll peel and wash and cut these. I'll run through that in a minute. About half of a large red onion. This one was huge. I'm using a little less than half. Some green onions, some celery, some dill, brown mustard, garlic powder, paprika, a couple of hard-boiled eggs, and some mayonnaise that I'm going to make myself. Now that I've washed my potatoes and celery, we'll talk about peeling. Specifically, you don't have to. I'm going to, but it's not entirely necessary. I've got a pot of cold salted water here, and that's just where I'm going to let my potatoes hang out until I am ready to take them over to the stove. To cut the potatoes, we're just going to do kind of a little bit bigger than bite-sized chunks. So these are approximately an inch, a little more than an inch-ish. You want them mostly the same size, but they're going to break down when we cook them and mix them up. So if they're a little bit too big to get in a bite, that's perfect for now. And those can just go back into the water because that's the water we're going to cook them in. We'll go ahead and get those on the stove, and once they're fork tender, we'll pull them out and work with them again. But in the meantime, we're going to work on the other things that are going to go into the potato salad. Now, while those potatoes are boiling, let's chop up the veggies. Half a red onion, we're just going to dice it. Same thing with the celery. We'll chop up the dill, and then we will slice the green onions nice and thin, and I'll dice up some hard-boiled eggs. I nearly forgot the eggs, which I did a right terrible job of peeling. They'll still chop up just fine though. There we go. Now we're all ready to assemble it. I've got my boiled potatoes here, and while they're still very hot and steaming, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take some cider vinegar and sprinkle about 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces over them, and I'm going to crack a whole bunch of black pepper onto them. I'm going to give them a little toss to get everything coated, and then we'll set them aside and start putting everything together. Well, we've got our potatoes, our mayonnaise, all our different add-ins. Let's get it all together. So we don't need this much mayo. We're going to use probably this is about half a cup. We'll add more if we need it. We're also going to add a fresh bottle, about 1/4 cup of mustard, a big pinch, probably about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. We've already got some salt and some pepper in there, but we'll add it more at the end. And then we'll add most of our green onions, most of our celery, all of our egg, all of our dill, and most of our onion. And then we just got to give that a stir. It's important when you stir this to not be really aggressive. You'll break up the potatoes too much. And while we do want the potatoes to break up somewhat, we don't want mashed potatoes. We want potato salad. So I'm using a folding technique, which is kind of coming in and then just turning it over on itself. Rotate the bowl. Do it again, just all the way around. Now I've got everything mixed together pretty well, but it is looking just a little bit dry. So I'm going to add just a touch more mayo and a touch more mustard. Alright, this is looking good. Let's give it a taste. Beautiful. Salt's actually spot on. Super happy about it. Usually I would show you how to plate this, but this is Grandma's recipe. And Grandma, all she ever did was sprinkle a few onions, a little celery, a few of the green onions, and then my favorite, even though there's no paprika in the potato salad, her potato salad always had a little dusting of paprika across the top of it. Still does. Gonna add a little bit of paprika. Alright, well I better drive up and give some of this to Grandma before it goes bad, so have a great rest of your time zone. Let me know how this turns out for you.